The other day, a friend and I had a conversation about how easy it is to describe entire groups of people with one single sweeping statement. Those Democrats, those Republicans, those Muslims, those Christians, those naturalists, those immigrants. We put these groups, and it led me to reflect, probably a little bit too deeply, as I sometimes often do, about how often we rely on labels and categories to make sense of the world around us. It's human nature to organize the things that we see, but when we reduce people to these broad descriptions, we risk missing something very important. And that's the person that's just right in front of us. We hear phrases all the time that describe whole groups, whether it's connected to a person's culture, a person's background or belief system, or politics or identity. And while those broad categories may seem convenient, they rarely will capture the truth about individuals. Each person carries a story. Each person comes with a set of experiences, strengths, struggles, and perspectives that can rarely be summed up in one little phrase. The beauty of our humanity is found in that uniqueness. No two people are exactly alike, even when they're in our own family. And whether they share the same religion that we do, or their community is the same as mine. And yet at the same time, we share more in common with other people than we even realize or that we even acknowledge. We all want to be seen, to be valued, to be understood, to be respected. And we all experience joy and pain and fear and all of those emotions. And those shared threads run deeper than anything else that you can imagine. The challenge and the opportunity is to, instead of placing somebody into a category, choose curiosity over assumption. When we do that, we make space and we allow each other to truly see the individual that's in front of us, not as them, but as fellow humans who are just trying to navigate this thing called life, like all of us are trying to do. In a world, especially social media, that really amplifies these divisive messages and tries to push us toward us versus them thinking, we have the power to think differently. We have the power to move differently. We can choose connection over comparison, understanding over judgment, and compassion over really quick, often baseless assumptions about these groups of people. At the end of the day, people are not easily categorized. They don't always belong in those groups, but they need to be seen as an individual person with all of their uniqueness and all of their specialness. When we lean into truth, we tend to see people fully and see them for who they are. And we also create space for deeper, more powerful connections when we open our eyes and say, maybe these people are not so divided from me, and maybe we have things that are more in common. So my challenge for you today is, instead of throwing people in these broad groups and kind of giggling about those broad groups or being hateful toward those broad groups, why don't you take a moment to meet individuals? Instead, you may find something very interesting about that individual, even if you don't necessarily agree with the category from which you place them.